Welcome back to Racing WA TV for the last of the day here at Kalgoorlie. It's the Freightlines Group Handicap over 1,200 metres. And Scott, this weather has seriously turned. It was a fantastic day here at Kalgoorlie for 7 races. But we'll be lucky to get out of here after the last.
Exactly right. I might be a late scratching for Geraldton tomorrow, Lockie. It's going to get very wet and windy here in the next half an hour.
Let's have a look at these horses in the yard, and we'll start with the Dreamers Never Die, now in the care of Peter Fernie. Chris Parnham rides.
And he goes around favourite here, Lockie. I think you probably have some level of forgiveness, considering that if you look at his form guide, he's struck 6 wet tracks in his life, never run a placing. So all of his form is on top of the ground, and this is the first time in his preparation that he's actually seeing a good 4. But at the same time, you also look at the same form that you're forgiving and saying, are we really taking $2.50 about this horse?
The 2 play ball is a scratching, so we now take a look at the 3, Musa, for Fiona Scott and Vic Corver.
I think this horse is actually going okay, but coming into it fresh from an awkward draw makes it a bit tougher. If you go back 3 starts ago, finished 3/4 off Secret Attire. She won again earlier today to frank that form, but I just didn't know where Vicky Corver was going to get to from a tricky draw.
The 4 is the Lions Gate, first up here today for Nev Newton. Sean McGrady rides.
And wasn't this a flurry of money when the markets were first framed? He went up $14, $15, and within the space of half an hour was into $4.40 from double figures. So there's obviously an expectation that he will go well here first start in the West. Had 3 runs when last in work at Murwillumbah, at Ipswich and at Grafton. They were all okay runs, and he's got the speed to use up that inside draw. They take the blinkers off, they put the winkers on. I think he's going to be a very nice purchase, this horse.
The 5 is Twist of Gold for Peter Fernie and Tash Faithful.
Very speedy mare, but with 58 kilos, I just thought that maybe the end of the 1,200 metres would about see her out. If you're looking through her form, her best runs have clearly been over the 1,100 since she's been here. She's tried hard at the 12, but she's always found one to run her down.
The 6 is Sister Kate for Robert Payton and Brad Parnham.
First up, no trial, drawn an alley to get a nice run, close-handed to the speed. Is a versatile type of mare, but she has only won the once from 19, and most of the horses had her fair and square at Esperance when last in work.
7, Dreambrook, Peter Fernie, Clint Johnston-Porter.
In a really tricky race, this is the way I'm going to go, and with Clint Johnston-Porter riding a little bit of a confidence high, hopefully he can pull something out of the hat here from this really wide barrier. This mare won first up at Kalgoorlie, leading all the way to win her maiden with a bit of style, and then was no match for Secret Style last start, but I'm thinking this race is a little bit easier than that.
8, Dublin Red, Peter Fernie now trains. Lucy Fury takes the ride.
Had a couple of runs up here on the Goldfields when last in work, and then resumed down in Perth for Brandon Fiore and wife Lucy. The trial at Lark Hill was actually really encouraging. The 2 runs after that on wet track and then a good 4 in the metro area were disappointing. Came up to Kalgoorlie last start, didn't fire a shot, would need to take on trust. 9, Noble Scott, third up here today for David Smith and Keshaw Duran. Hasn't won a race in over 1,000 days now and has had some fairly well-noted issues with soundness throughout his life, so he has been raced sparingly. And the 10 is Blitz'em Babe, first up here today for Peter Fernie and Chanel Cooper. Who rides at 53.5 kilos, so not much weight on the back of this 4-year-old mare. She's got a speed to burn from that middle alley. I'd expect here that there's a fair few that will be looking for the front early, expecting that they'll turn it on in the early and middle stages, just trying to sort out their settling order. Dreamers Never Die is our favourite at 265, and the wind is really picking up here at Kalgoorlie, and the weather is looking ominous. Scott, from a speed perspective, how did you see this one playing out in the last of the day? You're looking across the track here, Lockie, at the clerk of the course and the horse that's going with the grey. You can almost see that dust just blowing across the track. It's very blustery here today. Speed perspective, look, there's the Lions Gate is the interesting runner here. He led 2 of his last 3 races, and from barrier number 1, with the money going on, do they ride him for speed? Twist of Gold, I think, is the quickest horse in this field. I would expect that she probably leads them up. Dreambrook's got speed, but drawn wide. Blitz'em Babe's got speed, drawn the middle of the line. It's a really tough race. Lot of speed, lot of pressure. Very low confidence at my end. All right, let's have a look at this market where Dreamers Never Die is our favourite at $2.50. Dreambook on the second line of betting. Third up here today for Peter Fernie at $5.50. The Lions Gate. This has been some move. First up here in the West, no trial. Opened $14 or $15 and is now into $6.50 for Nev Newton and Sean McGrady. Twist of Gold is 7 into $6.50. Sister Kate is an $8.50 chance first up here today.
And Dublin Red, now in the care of Peter Fernie, is a $10 chance. Scott, how did you order the 4?
7, 4, 1 and 5, Lockie. I thought Dreambrook would hold up each way here. Given 4 weeks off after last run, so she comes into this just with a little bit of a let up in between the race meetings. She's obviously skipped a couple of race starts here, should I say, at Kalgoorlie. She pulled up with a bit of lameness at her most recent outing. From the draw, what does Clint Johnston Porter do? Wouldn't have a clue, to be completely honest. She's got the speed to burn across, but so have so many others. So I really don't know where she's going to settle. So I'm hopeful more than anything that she can find a back to follow. 4, the Lions Gate. Don't know much about him, but his run first up at Moolumbar would see him more than competitive here. Number 1, Dreamers Never Die. Showed a lot of ability as a 3-year-old. He's now returned as a 4-year-old. Is he going as well? Can you be forgiving of the wet tracks? But I'm just not sure where he's at. And then 5, Twist of Gold, who probably burns her way to the top, but will she run 1200? As you can sort of tell from the tone of my voice, really don't know how this race is going to play out.
But at 7, Dreambrook on top for Scott in the last of the day. What's upcoming tomorrow? You're off to Geraldton with the one and only Matt French. Is there a horse in particular you're keen on the Crayfish Coast tomorrow afternoon? I'm sure it'll be a great meeting for all those concerned.
A couple of them. In the last, I like the placement of Major Mario coming from a Saturday West Speed Platinum back into a Geraldton ratings race. Should be really suitable. Draws a nice gate for what is the king of Geraldton in Troy Turner. And in the race prior to that, so the second last, I thought Simple Logic for Merrill Haley found a very winnable race there. No first up form when in a previous care of a different trainer, but I always go off these new stable, new horse, so hopefully Merrill can get him to go well fresh. And I saw as soon as the markets went up, he went off very, very quickly, so that's a bit of confidence there too. Simple Logic in the second last, and then in the last, Major Mario at the GTC.
And we're back here on Saturday afternoon for the Cal Cup, and that's going to be an outstanding meeting from all reports. The hospitality packages available here at the KBRC are just about sold out. It seems like it's going to be a bumper crowd and a great edition of the race, albeit a small but select field.
Only down to 8 in the end, final acceptors, and the market is actually already up with Tab Touch as well locally, even though there hasn't been a barrier draw yet, and it came up 155 Starry Heights off the back of that very impressive win in the Boulder Cup.
Wow, that is nice and short for Starry Heights, but he was very dominant in winning the Boulder Cup last start. Scott is with Dreambrook in the last of the day. As you can see, they're joining the line reasonably well, so we'll hand you upstairs to Darren McCauley for one last time. Here he is calling home the Freight Lions Group Handicap.
Crowd on course here in Kalgoorlie, and then 4X Kalgoorlie Gold Cup Day Saturday. Expected to be 28, 29 degrees and a perfect day. But for the moment, the weather's turned and it's very gusty out there, light fading, and we are going to beat a bit of rain as well. Now, there's only a few to move in. Noble Scott, Dreamers Never Die, and Blitz'em Babe, and they'll be right for the last. Dreamers Never Die runs favourite in the last on the program. Stable chasing a treble here this afternoon, the Fernie Yard. Starter on the stand, which is rocking around over there. And moving forward, Blitz'em Babe. Blitz'em Babe loaded up into the gates. So the favourite, the last to complete the line, Dreamers Never Die. As the red lights, they stand out like a flashing beacon in fading light for the last on Hannans Day, taken out by VAR Start. Gates are back now, they're off and they're racing. And one of the first to actually get going, Twist of Gold, won the start from the former Queenslander, the Lions Gate, who got out very quickly. Up there as well soon after, Blitz'em Babe occupies third spot. Around them goes Muzzo, who's going to dash forward to get up outside of Twist of Gold, the speed on. Followed further back, Dreamers Never Die, scouting wider on the track. Noble Scott had drifted back into the field field. Back there as well when they come down the side of the course is Sister Kate. Over on the inside behind those then is Dreambrook, which is second from last, and the tail end of Dublin Red. As they work past the 600, Twist of Gold held the front from Muzzo, which had rushed around the outside in the early part to be there, applying pressure to the leader. In behind those, the Lions Gate looking to get clear now, the former Banana Bender. It's trying to find a bit of space on its outside. Next of all, Blitz and Babe just holding it tight. They went to the 250. Muzzer on the outside reaches the lead. On the outside of those, the Lions Gate, though, gets the opening. Sprints through down the outside. Dreamers Never Die coming with a run. Also there, Blitz and Babe. Dreamers Never Die, Blitz and Babe, but Dreamers Never Die wins it. And Dreamers Never Die goes home to score. One from Blitz and Babe. Dublin Red flew late with the Lions Gate. Close up on the inside, battling away. Then Noble Scott, followed further back Dreambrook. Then Twist of Gold, Noble Scott. In behind them, pulling up Sister Kate. And also dropping out is Muzzer after the last event of the day. Dreamers Never Die gives Peter Fernie a training treble here on Hannans Day. Number one, swooping down the outside. Dreamers Never Die, Chris Parnham there, getting the better of the stablemate Blitz and Babe. Dublin Red providing the stable with the trifecta in third placing with the Lions Gate there, fourth home. 1:12.21 is the time. Dreamers Never Die, the Nakoni gelding, giving Pete Fernie 3 of the 8 winners this afternoon and trifectoring the last event of the day. The favourite back on top of the ground and certainly much, much more at home. Wins the final event for Gold Light nominees, Jason Cheetham and Chris Parnham aboard, winning by 3/4, 3/4 second and third. The runner-up Blitz and Bay by Galar, Chanel Cooper, and Dublin Red by War Chant, Lucy Fiore. 1:10.84 to a busy finish in the last on the program. The Cup comes Saturday, and certainly we're all looking forward to that. Let's go to the yard though to round out the day from down there in the enclosure. Here's Lockie Taylor on a day that ends on a very good note for Peter Fernie yet again.
Thanks, Darren. Great calling here this afternoon. Peter Fernie dominant here at the KBRC once again, and this time it's Dreamers Never Die winning in the last of the day. First start for Peter Fernie, formerly trained by son Luke, but you've done it again, Pete. Improved one off your son.
I don't say that too loud. He's not in a good mood after Man Crush. He might ring and kill me. No, he went really good. We had a few little issues with it, and I was nearly going to pull it out, and we thought we'd run it today, and lucky we did.
He had to do it the hard way here this afternoon. In running, were you still confident that he'd always have enough tickets late despite having to do it the hard way throughout?
Oh, Chris was pretty confident that's where he wanted to end up, 3 deep with cover in this race today, so I left it up to Chris. He's a good jockey.
A trifecta in the last of the day. It continues the stable's great run of form over the last few months.
Yeah, a couple of them having their first start back for me. They went really good. I was really happy with Blitz. She didn't do much last prep, and she went tremendous then, done a fair bit of work and run a good race. And Dublin, we just tried something different to ride her quiet, and she got home fantastic. Big
team of horses on Saturday afternoon. Is there one or two that you're really looking forward to on Cup Day?
I always like it. I think Star Align, a couple of them ones buttering up. I think he'll be hard to beat, and I think Evelina will go really good buttering up as well.
Are Scotty and I going to get out of this place?
Well, you're not staying at my place.
I know, that's for sure. Well done on the treble.
See you, mate.
There's Peter Fernie after the winner. Dreamers Never Die. He's been great all day, pre-race, post-race. He's just been potting you and I all day.
I'd rather stay at Andrew Ingles' place anyway. It's got 4 more stories, Lock.
Exactly right. But Chris Parnham, he rounds out the day a winner. It didn't look like that might be the case in running, but hats off to Dreamers Never Die, and Chris was just able to keep the horse in a comfortable position throughout. And from there, the horse was good enough to hold off the stablemates late, which was great to see. And here's Chris catching up with Scotty.
Chris joins me now. Chris, Dreamers Never Die. He did it the tough way, but as you were seen in a couple of races today, 3-4 deep is probably not a bad spot at times.
Nah, unfortunately I've been on the fence on a few that are pretty unlucky. So drawn one early in the day. This one drew out a bit. I thought I was going to be 3 deep with cover, but the two outside me kept pressing on. But he sort of kept it in a nice rhythm, and he showed a good kick.
Let's talk about your day. Bucked off in the first of your rides, and then leaders back, 3 back the fence. It hasn't been that pretty.
Nah, I was hoping to lead on Man Crush, but they went really quick in the first 200. Had to let one cross, and that was the undoing in the end. I was damned for did, damned for don't type of scenario. Yeah, but we move on and push on to the next one.
Onwards and upwards. The Cup on Saturday, Iowa. Expectation for him?
Yeah, I think he'll run well. He's got a lot of work to do to turn the tables on Grant's horse, but he'll go in with a good chance, and hopefully he can get the job done.
Hope he draws barrier 1 in the morning. Well done, mate.
Cheers, thanks.
There's Chris Parnham rounding out what has been a great day here at Kalgoorlie. He combines with Peter Fernie and Dreamers Never Die to take out the last of the day. That's all we have time for on Racing WA TV. We'll be catching up with Scotty and Matt French on the Crayfish Coast tomorrow afternoon. They'll see you then.